And we got a waving flag, so we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
To
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks. Okay, thanks for everybody coming. Let me get
The
back to
notice
the screen.
requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been met by transmitting the notice of the regular meeting to the Commissioner's official newspaper on January 30th, 2020, and revised October 15th, 2020. Posting the notice where required and filing a copy of the notice with the Commission clerk. The Deal Lake Commission meeting will be audio and videotaped and will be shown on APTV, Optimum 77, and throughout most of Monmouth County on FiOS 30. Allenhurst,
Here.
Asbury Park,
Here,
Deal, Interlaken, Luck Arbor,
Here.
Neptune,
Here.
Ocean.
Here,
Did everybody get the revised minutes and the revised bill list this afternoon?
yes.
I
Okay.
didn't.
You did?
Sorry, Jesse, I'm here.
Okay. I saw you before. I sent out a revised, Jeannie wanted something changed on the minutes to reflect that the tree wasn't planted. It was a proposed tree. And I forgot what the other one was.
The calendar dates.
Calendar dates we did.
Oh, they were on the minutes?
They
Okay,
were on the minutes.
okay, thank you.
Okay. And so someone please offer to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of September 17th, 2020. I'm sorry, Eric, you weren't there, so you can't vote.
Okay.
Someone please offer.
offered,
Offered.
Ocean.
Second,
I'll
Interlaken.
all in favor?
second.
Aye.
Aye.
Bruce, did you get the revised treasurer's report?
I did get the treasurer's report. I don't know if it's the revised one.
Is it the one with the 168, 462, 33 at the end?
I have to scroll down to see. No,
No.
it says 170, 637, 33.
All the numbers are the same, except in the Manasquan Bank for total after disbursements. That should be 126, 156.92 for a total on deposit of 168, 462.33. But all these numbers-
Why don't you just go ahead and read
Oh,
it?
okay, true.
I defer. I abdicate my responsibility.
Okay, you sound a little tired anyway. Total on deposit, the beginning of the month was 116,696.76. Total receipts, including the 319.8 for reimbursement, was 58,715.01. We had total disbursements, regular disbursements of 3,968.68. Total grant disbursements of 2,980.76 for a total of disbursements of 6,949.44. For total on deposit at the end of the month, of the end of all disbursements, 168, 462.33. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second,
Second,
Allenhurst,
Yes.
Asbury Park,
yes.
Interlaken,
Yes.
Luck Arbor,
Yes.
Neptune,
Yes.
Ocean.
Yes.
Okay. Want to take it away?
Okay. Flume electrification. Well, it's almost done. Peter, you want to give us the final update?
Sure, I will. We've been in touch with the contractor several times this past week. Don, you're lowering the lake Sunday, October 18th.
Maybe. No, I am. We are.
Precise construction will be on site next week to start the wall repairs once the water elevation is low enough. And the weather next week is expected to be good, so we're hoping that we'll be able to get all the work done. They've ordered the company is Sika. It's a coating that we specified for the wall after the repairs are made. So that material is ordered. It's going to be on site And once they've mobilized to do the wall repair, they'll use that material on the wall and get all the treatment finished. He's also scheduling the remaining electrical upgrades. The lighting, the actuator controls, Quality Electric will be in to do that work. And he's scheduled the actuator company to have a rep on site to calibrate the north actuator. Don, the south one's working fine. The north one, we need a little work.
That's correct.
correct.
That's correct.
Okay, so all that work's being processed, and hopefully we'll get it done in a matter of weeks, and we'll be ready to rock and roll. And then it's tough for Don and Jesse, and I will have to work with Ocean and work with DEP and work with the Army Corps to close out the funding on the project.
Yeah, by the way, Carol and I were out there the other day. I guess it was yesterday, right, Carol?
Yeah.
It was yesterday. And we picked out the color. So I had to have a interior decorator's touch. So we sandalwood beige was the paint selection. So we're trying to match kind of what the Asbury Park wall looks like as best we can. So, maybe Asbury will use the same idea when they restore their wall down the road. But the material is great. You're gonna have Spring Lake and look at the wall down there that they did, but Spring Lake Belmar border.
Yeah, we did that as Tony was the contractor for that job too.
Yes. And Tony sent me down there and it looks great. So our wall should look pristine. All the cracks that are in it should be not seen anymore, I believe. So that's the intent. The paint job is 95% done. Just one more coat on the floor has to be done. And you probably saw pictures on the website and ones I might have mailed to you. And it's looking really good. So it's the best it's ever looked.
I have a question about not our wall, but the wall that runs on the easternmost end where there are many holes where it's eroded. Is Asbury Park? I haven't been able to find out if they're doing anything about that along the lake.
I don't know that answer.
Okay, all right.
But on this particular project, it's going real well. I'm thrilled with the progress. And by the way, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, next year is the 100th anniversary of the Flume building. Is that correct, Peter?
I hope you're not asking me. I wasn't around then. I don't quite recall that.
I thought I read something that was built in 1921 or 1921.
I will check the plans that we have and see if there's any reference to that date.
Okay, great.
Wow.
If there is, we'll have to have a celebration, right? And get a centennial plaque on that damn thing. That's what we got to do.
If there isn't, we'll have a celebration.
It's went through a lot of weather for sure. Okay, thanks, Pete. 319 grant update. Let's start with Jack on that one, since we're right now on we're doing the tree planters. Jack.
Sure. So we have I believe we're kind of with our floating wetland islands, we've decided to do the armoring. Don, I'll be honest, I was in the field all day today and just got in. So where do we stand on that? I think I saw an email in terms of placing that final order with Midwest Floating Island.
Yep.
Okay. From there, what I'll do is I'm going to talk to them about their potential freight charges, because they say they've increased and they should be able to. They're hoping they'll decrease again in the spring. There's no guarantee of that though. So I'm going to base our prices on the current freight, and I'll come up with a plan for the floating wetland islands to put into Wesley Lake. Now from there, we also have some green infrastructure. Peter and I, Steve, Don, you were there, and Doug McQueen walked around Wesley to start looking at some of the green infrastructure possibilities there. And we have some possibilities for rain gardens, catch basin retrofits. Peter, do you want to chime in? Do you have any other stuff to add to that?
I'm going to meet with Doug McQueen next week, and we looked at 5 or 6 potential intersections of Asbury Avenue at the shoreline of Wesley Lake, where the fire lanes run down to the lake. Doug and I are going to prioritize those, and maybe we'll pick 2 to fit into our funding amount. The 2 priorities, the one we liked the best, which all of us out there like the best, I think, was adjacent to, I think they call it Founders Park, adjacent to the park at the bridge crossing into Asbury Park.
Right.
A lot of potential there and a lot of potential impact there. So we're probably going to start at that one as priority 1 and take another large one running back from the west. And then work on the plans for them to get it out to bid.
Yeah, in addition to that, we also have a general concept of what we'd like to do over at the Asbury Park Rain Garden. We need to clean that out a little bit, regrade it, and put a couple tree boxes in there. So once we have a little bit more of a clear plan as to exactly what each of these is going to cost, we'll be able to balance out what's left in the budget with what green infrastructure projects we can do. I know we wanted to try and get something in the ground soon, but we're cutting it really close. In fact, by the time we get something together, it wouldn't be prudent to plant this close to the first frost. So the winter will give us time to really hash out all the details out and be able to come up with a really clear plan, hit the ground running in the spring.
Just keep in mind, we got 2 tree boxes on Deal Lake planned. And we Matt and I were looking at one the other day near the gazebo by Allenhurst. And we always talked about the Dick's Pizzeria over by Wanamassa, North Wanamassa Point Road and Wickapecka, that spot. So there's 2 spots other than the other ones we talked about.
Sure, that's actually something we can look into because they don't absolutely need the trees in the tree boxes right off the bat. Those could be those can be planted later. So we should follow up on that conversation a little bit more.
Okay, we'll do.
Jack, I have a question about trees. I know you said that don't need to be trees. I was just wondering the Shade Tree Commission in Asbury Park, Tom Pavinsky, you remember I spoke about a tree that they're interested in planting. Would that type of tree that I brought to the meeting last month, would that type of tree they are doing with their Remember Me project, would that be something you can?
That's too big. Now you need to do like some type of bush, because eventually that media needs to be replaced. So the soil that's in the tree box after about 5 to 7 years needs to be removed.
Okay.
So those types of trees that they're talking about, those are shade trees. They're way too big. I mean, typically we use, they call it tree boxes, but it's really bushes that you're going to put in there or some other type of shallow rooted vegetation, right?
Yeah, they do have some that are actually longer, and you plant like grasses in them to look kind of like a median, like almost like the median strip in a highway, but a lot smaller. But yeah, Steve brings up a very good point. Yeah.
Thanks for
the Asbury Park Rain Garden, though, that's an easy lift. And Jack and I talked about that because it is a low hanging fruit project. Some of it could actually be done manually, but as he pointed out, we discussed this, and we're really way too close to the first frost to get in there and do excavation and then even like seed and then put in plant material. But there's a really good base there. We saw that there was a lot of really good native vegetation. It's just it had become overrun by some invasives. And then there's a lot of sediment that just needs to be, removed. But even that can be done by, manually with shovels and wheelbarrows. It's an easy lift.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, thanks. What about Peter? What about the treatment devices, the RFP? I didn't get this finals. I don't think they signed it yet, right?
Yes, they did. Precise Construction has signed the contracts. The originals are being sent back to Jesse.
Okay.
We're going to set up a pre-construction meeting probably in the coming week. And we will process the review of their shop drawings. Yeah, we have to get, the Asbury Park engineer definitely wants to be involved in the town manager. Fine. Yeah. Well, we'll certainly invite him to the pre-con. That's the first thing. What we'll do along the way, probably for our next meeting, we'll have a better idea after the pre-construction meeting of the project schedule. So we'll provide that so everyone knows. It's kind of an interesting thing. Not many people were as involved when we put the MTD on Comstock. It's an interesting thing to watch. If you have an affiliation with Asbury Park High School, this will probably be going in, even if they're virtual, it'll be going in when school is in session. If there's an opportunity for a class of the engineering program or one of the environmental science groups to get out here while it's happening, it's a great tool. Yeah, Jeannie, we can make that happen, right, Jeannie?
What's that?
We'll bring a class. Somebody inform the Asbury Park High School folks and their engineering class could maybe come out and we can give them a briefing on it beforehand, and then maybe an on-site tour of one of the treatment devices being dropped in the lake. It could be an environmental group, it could be an engineering team, it could be any of those, right?
I'll look into it, see what I can find out. I'm not
Okay.
sure right now with
Just give them a heads up. It's probably gonna be done in the next 3 months, Peter? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you know what? If you guys do that, please document it. We want to be able to share that with the state for any of the reports that
You're
we
gonna-
send them. They eat up these educational opportunities, and it's
We'll
really,
have APTV out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we will.
Well,
We
it's
will.
great idea for high school. And of course, we have Jason here tonight from Monmouth University. So maybe we can be something that Jason would get his students involved with.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Our students, some of them would be interested in going to that. and seeing that.
Actually, they could do some of the pre-testing of the water outflow and maybe post-testing. Would they enjoy that?
When we did Comstock,
think.
I know Steve did it, but Sherry Schifrin from DEP Water Quality Monitoring also did it.
Okay.
So
So
we'll
if they want to do that, that'd be
certainly be able to coordinate.
very positive, then, before and afters.
I'll call the superintendent and see if they're interested.
Okay.
And
So
Peter,
could-
well, before we leave 319, I just want to ask you, you had contacted me after the August meeting about discussing placement for the gauges. Do you want to
Yep.
talk about that offline? or-
Don said he would handle that, but Matt Mariano and Don will coordinate that.
Yep, we'll do that. Yeah, one's got to go down by the flume and there's 2 others we have, so.
I'd
two
like to see
locations.
one, I know you mentioned you wanted to put one in the middle of the lake but I would like to see it at a place where the public can view it,
Jeannie,
like on a
right, tell
bridge.
me, you tell me where you want it, Jeannie. I got 2 of them.
Okay, one.
You got 2 locations. I
Right,
got 1.
right. Sunset and then Wickapeka Bridge, the Wickapeka Bridge.
Yeah, okay, just, if you could do it on a map, that'd be great. We could just
Sure.
figure it out.
Okay,
Okay, great. No update on the ship and sniff program. Seaview Mall, I don't think there's update. Is anybody here from the Watershed Alliance? I think I saw Robert. Robert, do you have anything on that?
Hey, guys. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Nothing to add on that.
Okay. But we haven't forgot about Seaview, that's for darn sure, right?
Yeah.
2020, the weed treatment program. I believe Steve had written up a draft report. I think we're gonna vote on it in the December meeting, is that correct?
But I thought this was for the report on solitude lake management. Did you
No,
get
no,
that?
hold- Steve, you're muted. You're muted, Steve. Steve,
Steve Souza,
hey, Ken, can you unmute him? Or does he have to?
Steve Souza, you mean? Or
Steve,
who?
There we go. Okay.
there he
Sorry.
is.
No, I sent you a draft RFP. That's what you had asked for. So
Correct.
the commission could review and then make a decision. And as I noted in the RFP, I mean, I set it up for the same 2 locations that were done this past year. But if you want to add, the additional, that one additional arm of the lake, the southernmost arm, the hollow, I mean,
I don't think we have to have to add any. I mean, and we have provisions for, and/or, I mean, it could be, are we gonna do it now? We're gonna do it later, or not at all. I don't want to have it. I don't want to have no options. In other words, I want to have options. So it has to be priced separately, right?
right. Well, they would all have to be, yeah, that's the way it's set up. They're priced separately.
Do we have that RFP tonight to look at or?
Not,
I sent it out.
yes,
Oh, did-
yeah,
I
we'll vote on it. We'll vote on it next meeting, which is gonna be December meeting. That gives us plenty of time. What the hell's going on here?
Don,
If
how-
you,
Don,
What?
Don,
1 second. I gotta turn my phone off. It's buzzing. I
Can
can't
we-
stop it.
Can we-
Go ahead.
Yeah, we can't vote on it during a work session, so
no, that's why we're voting on it in December. But
Yeah.
Don, number
Okay.
5 was for the solitude lake management report. Number 13 was for Steve's RFP.
Right?
Yeah, I did not get that final, I did not officially get that final report, even though they sent us something. Their thoughts were the darn lake needs to be dredged. It's very hard to
Yeah.
treat. Is that correct, Steve? Was that their?
Yeah, it wasn't really a report. I mean,
No,
but
that
I
wasn't-
was expecting to see a report detailing what they did, how many gallons of whatever was applied, when it was applied, and
Right.
then their comments on the efficacy or efficiency of the entire application and what things could be improved. But no, we haven't gotten a report of that nature yet.
No. They said, I called them. They did return my call. I didn't get it. I heard the message. They said they're working on it basically. So they wouldn't have it for this meeting. So next, hopefully by December meeting, we'll have the full report. The analysis was, it wasn't very successful. I think that was the bottom line. Would you agree?
Well, I think the western arm of Sunset was successful.
That was successful, but the Colonial Terrace piece was not.
It was about 50%. I think that again, that it's just a tough place to treat because of limitations with the intake for the golf course. It's shallow and it flushes very quickly. So, there's limited the type of products that they can use. So it's just a tough place to treat. And now, I mean, the weed densities are pretty high in there, but I mean, from my opinion, I think they knocked it down about 50%. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't, it wasn't the greatest either.
I think
Could I just say something? I mean, based on what we discussed, I think in my memory was that we knew it wasn't going to all get taken care of on a one-shot treatment. And so we expected that this was going to take several treatments.
Well, we did 2 treatments on it.
Well, I mean, besides this season, right? That we were going to have to do it again next year.
We'll address it at the December meeting. We'll have hopefully the report from Solitude that we can work with. So, and if we add anything, we'd add Hollow Brook to that, Steve.
Okay, so I didn't get an RFP. Did you send? He said you sent it out, Steve.
No, I got it.
Oh, you got it.
Jesse. I sent it to Jesse and Don.
Okay, so then
I'll send it to the rest of the commission next week. Okay.
Thank you.
But Don, do you want me to? I can modify that table and just put in, Hollow Brook.
Sure.
With the estimated acreage for Hollow.
Okay, that'd be good, Steve. Thanks.
All right.
Let me keep rolling. The NJIT phase 1. I think we got a note from NJIT. They wanted to come down to do some readings. I said, you're going to have to wait till the lake comes back up. I think they were going to do depth soundings on the lake. And I said, well, it'll be a little low. So I think they're going to come back in the November, December timeframe to do that. Is that what you got? The same email, right, Steve?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, they wanted to come out and do the the bathymetry, but they weren't aware of the fact that the lake was going to be lowered. So yeah, they're going to come back later. It's not critical to the overall operation. I mean, they can do it. They could do it like as little as a month in advance of when they bring in the boat, but. The purpose is really for them to establish what their volumes are that they're going to be dealing with to get a better feel on the amount of time it's going to take, for this operation to really, for them to be able to do that lower part of the lake. I mean, they're really only concentrating on from the railroad bridge to the outfall. That's it. Right. The flume.
Nobility Crest. I stopped over my house today and we went over the letter. It's pretty meaty. Hunt, you want to go over it a little bit?
Unmute yourself.
Thank you. Basically, the research is done. Now it's just, like I said last time, it's footwork and trying to get documentation from different agencies and filling it and just connecting the dots. So we're in the process of doing that. I went over the meat of it with Don today just so he could see what the letter looks like and what the notice is going to look like. It is a notice of intent to sue. And it goes to the federal attorney general and to the DEP and to EPA and to a whole slew of people. So we want to make sure all the dots are connected before I let it fly, because I don't want to have to do it twice, that's for sure. So that's where we are with it. It should be ready, I would think, by the next one, and I'll be working with Don to try and get the details together on on the events that took place over the last 4 years that are going to be included in this thing. So
Great.
Well, okay, thanks, Hunt. Thanks, Hunt. The signs update. I'll go over some with the goose, but I did go over, let me just see it. I got the share screen capability. Let me see if I get to that website here. 1 second. You might have seen this. Oh, 1 second. Facebook.
I saw that.
You probably saw the no wake sign.
Oh, nice.
I'm trying to get a better decals. West of the railroad tracks, idle speed 5 miles an hour. These were purchased with the authorization I had. They were about a little under $500. I put some up with a couple of friends. We went around and glued them on things, bolted them on things, screwed them on things. And if you've been boating around the lake, you might have seen them. It should give some indication to people that you got to slow it down. I had a little discussion with the Deal Police today on another subject, but I did mention that we're working with Ocean on trying to get some enforcement capabilities with the local police, at least a warning that they can hunt these people down and talk to them and give them a verbal warning, and maybe even check registrations and things like that. See if these people have proper licensing for the boats and license for themselves. Because I think most of the people that are abusing the speed are not trained operators that don't have the proper permits. That's our guess. So hopefully these signs help a little bit, but be honest with you, I tell the public, if you see a speeder, call the police. Anything east of the railroad tracks, the main lake, fast as you can go, there's no problem, unless the people are out of control, swamping people and things like that, dangerous boating, that's a call to the police. But yeah, they're going zippity-doo down the back reaches of the lake. You should just call the police and let them deal with it. And they might say, well, you should call the Deal Lake Commission. Well, just the Deal Lake Commission says call the police. So that's where it should be at. And that's it for the signs. I do have another sign that we're putting up on the Main Street Bridge. The green spots that were put up years ago are wearing down. We're putting up new ones, metallized, reflective ones. So there's only really one safe passage for motorboats under that bridge. And be honest, we're going to have to reassess that because when we lower the lake, because I hit something with my boat the other day, just outside that area, not inside, but outside. And also by our favorite Bridge 11, by the old McGillicuddy's Interlake and Lock Harbor Bridge. There was some debris there. So hopefully we'll spot these things when we lower the lake. Okay.
Number 9 is a repeat, sorry.
What's that?
Number 9 is a repeat, I'm sorry, Seaview Wall.
Oh yeah, look at that. Shoreline protection. Jeannie and I and Steve wrote a letter. We worked on it together and we sent it to DEP. And boy, we got response right away. They're willing to sit down with us and we're going to go over, shoreline protection, docks. I mean, things like that, things that affect the waterway that they have control of. And a lot of towns really don't have a clue what they're doing. So most of the responses, call the DLA Commission. It's really not our job. So it's really the job of the planning boards and the code enforcement folks to do that. So we're trying to get our plan is to get this the first step. The next step is have the code enforcement folks and the planning boards to be involved in a joint Zoom session with with us and also the DEP and for us to have a section at our website that the towns can use as a reference guide, which would really help. Pictures, examples. There's 2 or 3 critical areas along the lake that are well-treed peninsulas that I would hate to see de-treed. They really should be kept natural based on the codes and regulations. They would be. So we're trying to make sure that happens and we lose
Don,
less
if I
trees
could add-
and
if I
lose
could
the
add
shoreline.
something, so there's no confusion. Since
Yeah, go ahead.
we are public with our meetings and they're going to be televised.
Correct.
It's not the responsibility of the planning boards at all, unless there's an active site development application.
Correct.
If
Correct.
it's a residential application. I don't want anyone to be confused. Planning board virtually has no jurisdiction over shoreline improvements. And code enforcement doesn't either if there are no local ordinances. If it's strictly a DEP regulatory activity, it's the DEP that oversees it.
Yes.
So they have to be told and informed. Now, did you talk to land use or did you talk to
Yes.
enforcement?
Land use.
We got both involved, Peter.
Permits and DEP enforcement officials from land use. All 4 of them, actually, we have represented and meeting with in November.
Yeah. What's been happening, Pete, every time there's a problem with oil, trees being taken out or oil tank issue, people call the DEP and register a complaint on the hotline, and they always end up calling the town, and the town's usually calling me and asking me the questions. So I'm always scratching my head on that, going, geez, somebody should know that. And they're all pointing fingers in different directions, and nobody really has
Well, one of the things,
jurisdiction.
You remember a while back, I was putting a brochure together to try to educate the public about what they can and, what they can do. And we came up with the fact that it would be helpful, one, if the public was aware of who they need to contact to find out if they need a permit to do landscaping projects. And also it would be helpful when town officials are, say, somebody's building a deck or their property, and that person might be able to say, hey, here's this brochure, or if you live on the lake, you need to be aware that you might need a permit to do any landscaping or dock building. So it's kind of started back with that a number of months ago.
It's JD. I don't want to spend too much. We're going to spend a lot of time on it next month, so we'll table it for now. But I just want you guys to know, Steve, I, and Jeannie, and I think Peter's invited to that discussion with the DEP. But they were very excited to talk with us. Maybe they have nothing to do, but they were quick. I mean, within minutes of the email.
Right. It isn't the first time they've been contacted. But anyway, we have a date of November 24th, Peter.
Yep. Okay, we're gonna keep on going here, guys. Rain garden, Deal Lake Watershed Alliance, they started the rain garden over there by Bimbler. I just want everybody to know there's some piles of dirt over there right now, and I believe they started today. So you'll see a lot of action in that area. So good luck with that. The fall cleanup's 31st. Obviously, we're gonna be lowering the lake. We're gonna lower the lake, it's starting Sunday. We were gonna do it last Sunday, but with the rains that we had and the delay with the contractor, and I think the rain was another problem for them. So I figured, what the hell, give everybody another week to enjoy the lake and another opportunity to get their boats out. There's still, if you know friends that have boats on the lake, please ask them to remove the boats before we lower the lake, because it's going to make it a lot easier for them. It'll be 2 or 3 weeks of a lower lake at least. If there's complications on the wall, we're going to have to keep it lower. And we'll let you know if that's happening, but it's better if folks have boats, they should be getting them out. And I think most have been informed. The Facebook and Twitter feeds seem to be working. There'll be something in the paper. Oh, did anybody read anything in the coaster today? There's supposed to be something in the coaster on it today. So.
Well, we sent it out with through MailChimp too.
And MailChimp, thank you. And MailChimp too, correct. And I think the Deal Lake Watershed Alliance also sent something out on the email on that too. And we got the weed treatment RFP update. We told you about that already. Okay. New business, 2021 geese control signs. There's a couple things, not only the signs, but the lights. Now, you all know, I think, is Gail on here or Gary's on here? We know Wesley Lake has been using the lights, and I believe from a couple of discussions I've had, they've been very successful. The lights are meant to keep the geese off the lake at night. They're disturbed by the flashing light, and they leave, they go to Spring Lake. That's what I hear. We don't want them to come to Deal Lake. And I see this year, the western
where they're gonna go though.
The western section of the lake was inundated with geese. Lollipop Pond, even Fireman's Pond. It wasn't I thought it'd be too disgusting for geese, but no, nothing's too disgusting for geese. So they were in Fireman's Pond, Lollipop Pond, and a little bit in Terrace Pond in the back reaches. And Hollow Brook, I believe they had them too. So, I got quotes from our friends at Away with Geese, and the quotes, they add up to about $5,300 in lighting, and they actually do a layout exactly where the lights would go. And I'm not going to present that tonight, but I just want to mention that it was $5,300 for all those lakes. I am talking to the Deal Lake Watershed Alliance about sharing those costs. And they seem to be, they're going to discuss that, I guess, their executive board section, but I thought it was a really good idea. It's something that we could all work together on to make all, the main lake and all the tributary lakes a better place to be. I also got a quote for Sunset. I'm going to pass that along to the Sunset Commission so they can do that at their lake also, which feeds Deal Lake. So the other one was the signs. The sign, you guys seen the signs before, I believe, right? The signs we had made up or drafted up between the Wesley Lake folks and myself. Is that a yes? No?
What, you brought them to a meeting, you mean?
Yeah, I showed them to you last meeting. Hold on.
Yeah, you did.
Let me just grab them real quick. While I'm looking for that, I see we also have the Peter, can you talk a little bit about the Allenhurst Bridge real quick while I'm talking about this?
Certainly, I was not in attendance in the meeting. I sent a couple of my engineers there. But the Corley, I call it the Corley's Avenue Bridge, Allenhurst to West Allenhurst, Allenhurst to Ocean Township, is scheduled to be placed on a 5-year maintenance schedule by the County of Monmouth. They have a 5-year plan for all the county bridges, and they have to do that because they have so many bridges that require maintenance and repair. And they started with a site investigation and accumulation of data from all the towns involved, and they invited the Deal Lake Commission, which was a nice gesture on their part. I think they're tired of getting phone calls from Don, so they figured they'd bring them in from the start. It was very interesting, but they're accumulating data, and they will, I don't even think they've secured proposals for the work yet, but they'll put all that together. They'll solicit proposals for design plans and move forward. And during that process, as the design progresses, we'll be able to comment further on some of the issues that we have.
I'd like to add one thing about the geese remediation. I'm just going to put a plug in for egg addling, because I think that if we get a lot of the municipalities on board with egg addling, we're getting them before they hatch. And that seems to be, a reasonable place to start. Egg addling does that, and we wouldn't have to be dealing with full-grown geese later on, trying to get them to, away from the lakes.
True statement. Let me just see what we got here. This was the lake. This was the final sign that we had.
Right.
So I'm looking for authorization to buy 20 of these signs in that range. So
and could I add to what I was saying, at our November meeting, I'd like to see that as a topic to plan for.
Well, we already do that, Jeannie. We already do that with the towns. I mean, that's a big emphasis in the February, March timeframe. And the towns are doing a great job on that. We had an excellent oodling effort last year, and they stopped a lot of problems. The biggest problem we have is people feeding geese. The geese are coming back. I know a house at Interlaken, the people feed the geese. There's rules and regulations. Every one of our towns about feeding fowl. Interlaken provided me that information. Carol provided the information. And I think all of the commissioners should gather up that information for each of their towns, and we'll place it on the website. And we gotta hit home and say, if you feed the geese, you're doing bad things, and why, and we explain why you don't, right? On the sign. It's not a regulation, but the towns can't enforce regulations. People are putting feed out in back of their homes, and the geese are walking across the lake and eating. And I know they're nesting in the same spots, and you can't touch them in those properties. So we're gonna have to be a little stricter in each town. So each of the commissioners gonna have to work this. I have to work in Ocean, you have to work in an Asbury. So that's how we're gonna do it.
I'm just going to say that again, I don't know if that's the direct correlation with why we have more geese. I think there are a lot of reasons why we have more geese, and whether it has to do with people feeding them, because it's a universal problem. It's not just here.
Oh yeah, I think we did very well with geese this year, to be honest with you.
We did it by using the addling program. So
we also did the coating of the ground and all that. So anyway, I'm looking for authorization for $1,000 to buy signs. That's what I'm looking for. Signs and posts, guys. So I'm looking for. So the motion is $1,000 for purchasing geese signs and posts for displaying around towns.
I'll second.
Someone offer? Did anybody else?
Offer?
Second?
Second.
Allenhurst?
Yes.
Asbury Park?
Yes.
Deal?
Yep.
I saw you here. Interlaken?
Yes.
Lock Harbor? Lock Harbor? I saw her before.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can. Yes,
I'm going to say no. Is that okay?
that's, of course it
All
is.
right.
And Ocean.
What about
Don?
Neptune?
Yes.
Oh, Neptune, I'm sorry, Neptune.
Yes.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
Kevin already asked me.
I'm sorry.
I don't think they like playing with one another.
What, they got Allenhurst? Allenhurst. Is that Allenhurst? Okay, First Responders Park. You know, I saw some chatter around, and Marty and I both saw it. Marty wrote some wonderful write-ups in the paper the last couple of weeks. And, you know, I think we're behind it. I mean, I'm just trying to feel out the commission right now. I'll ask for a vote, but when you get a chance, you know, send me a note on that, on the First Responders Park. I think it's a great idea to get people together to fix
Maybe
a
I'll-
problem that we've had for a decade at least.
Or without Anthony.
So if we can gather our thoughts for the next meeting, I'd like to make a formal proposal on supporting that effort. I haven't talked to my mayor yet, but there was one effort of putting the First Responders Park in Joe Playa Park. And I think that defeats the purpose of what Marty was trying to do. And I really
More committed
want to
to
support Marty on that one. Lollipop Pond is another possible option.
Anthony.
So we're looking at alternatives for that and another project for that.
Here, let me know.
And I'll talk to you about it. What? Hey, Bruce, what are you doing there, buddy?
What?
You might wanna mute yourself if you
Oh,
want.
I'm sorry.
That's good. I thought you're talking to your bookie, or what was that? What was that? Okay. That's it for Lollipop Pond and Fireman's Pond. But yeah, it's a great effort. Hopefully we can support it in a motion next meeting. November 17th workshop. That's what date is that? That's the 17th. What day is that? That's
I'm
Thursday?
sorry, it's the 19th. Did I put the 17th? It should
Put the
be
17th.
Let me look.
19th?
Wait, let me look. It's November 19th. I'm sorry.
Okay.
19th.
Now, were we going to try to do an in-person for that or not?
Whatever you want.
We could try an in-person.
Ocean is open.
Okay.
I'll just
the
add,
19th of November.
Interlaken is not yet meeting at their municipal building, so you have to take that into consideration.
Okay, thanks.
I
Peter.
thought we decided last month we were going to do it as a Zoom. Didn't we decide that?
I don't know.
We
I
decided to Zoom and we said we limited it to 1 hour.
Why?
Right.
1 hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's you.
Why-
We'll try for in-person. If we can't, we'll Zoom. So we'll see if we have an availability of a room.
I'd like to do it as a Zoom. I would feel more comfortable doing it as a Zoom.
You would?
Yeah, definitely. Anybody else? I mean,
Okay. If you're not comfortable with it, I'm okay with Zoom.
Yep.
Okay, we'll do Zoom.
They're talking about saying no Thanksgiving this year, so.
yeah, I'm not even having, right, exactly. I'm not meeting with my family for Thanksgiving, so.
Okay.
We
So
have
you're not gonna. Are you trying to say we're a bunch of turkeys, or you're not? We're not a bunch of turkeys. No, I agree with that. We'll keep it. We'll keep it. Zoom.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's meeting.
We talked about the no wake signs. Allenhurst Bridge, we talked about the county boom. Believe it or not, I got a nice call from the county after I sent that blistering letter about a year ago. They wanted to take the boom out immediately, and they waited and they called. They said, well, we really want to take it out. We went down there, we inspected, we see your booms there. We're going to put your boom back in position, and we're going to remove our boom. I said, okay. I didn't get an argument. I said, that's fine. I said, it's probably unusable because it's all full of oil, but so they're going to, I told them we're going to lower the lake they'll probably wait till we lower it and then remove the boom. And they'll remove all the trash behind it too. If hopefully they did it already and we don't have to worry about it for the cleanup. But they are removing it. And believe it or not, Neptune Emergency Operations Center actually holds that boom for them. So the poor guys in Neptune EMS are going to be the ones dealing with that. Lake helpers. You know, one of the things I want to think about for next meeting is, you know, how we can, you know, we have the Deal Lake Watershed Alliance. There's a group of people there. There's other people around the lake that can help do things. And I just don't think we have that zeroed in yet. I think we could get some group within the Deal Lake Commission or sponsor a group that help to do things. Whether it's help towns clean out storm drains, or, you know, picking logs out of the lake, that type of thing. Just manual labor type things, trimming trees along the shoreline, things like that. Like more like a garden club type environment, but a combination garden club and maintenance around the lake to make the lake better. So, yeah.
Why don't we add that to, you know, next month?
Yeah, we'll bat it around at the November 19th meeting.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to have some kind of lake helpers group. Yeah, get T-shirts for them and make it an official organization. So, okay, with that, let's open the public hearing, and with the first ones will be Monmouth.
Before we do, I'd like to.
Oh, I'm sorry. Any more new business?
Yeah, regarding the meeting that workshop to plan for the 2021 goals.
Right.
We had talked, or I had mentioned, and you agreed, I think, Don, that we would ask the commissioners to send in topic ideas for that meeting. And I had sent some. I had sent some to you. Would you want to share it just so people can see what?
No, I'm going to hold off on that, but I do ask again, if anybody has any topics for that meeting, please send them to me. Jeannie has a couple of good ones. We're going to put those in the list. It could be bulletized. It doesn't have to be a lot of words, just bullets of what you want to see, what the commission could do in 2021. And what things you would like to see personally for your town or the whole lake in general.
The goals that we have for 2021.
2021, right.
Yeah.
Okay. With that, we're gonna close the new business. We're gonna open up for public hearing. Jeannie or Jesse, can you take it from here?
Someone please make a motion to open the meeting to the public.
So moved.
Second.
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 All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Dr. Aboff, all yours for the CLONet program of Monmouth University.
Okay, thank you. Everyone can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I asked Ken if he would allow me to share my screen. We've got a few slides. Oh, thank you.
Ooh.
Okay, we got that?
Yeah, we can see
Okay,
it.
so thank you very much to the Deal Lake Commission for inviting me and Aaron Conlon, who is going to speak next, to talk about the CLONet program, Coastal Lakes Observing Network, that's run out of Monmouth University and the Urban Coast Institute. Just to review, the idea of CLONet from the start was a community-based and participatory research, which means that it's a citizen science program where the citizens actually do some of the sampling and the work, which is different from some other citizen science programs, and are an interactive participant in the using the data as well. And just to date, we've been operating for about 1.5 years now. And sorry, I got an admit request on my screen. I'm not going to hit it because I don't know who it is. So the data in the program has been used by lots of people, lake groups and grant applications. It's piqued interest. I get phone calls all the time from researchers and other groups wanting to collaborate with CLONet. Drawn attention to some of the water quality issues across the lakes, and has involved lots of students, and there's plenty more to do still. The basic sampling that the citizen scientists in CLONet do, many of you are familiar with, but I want to underscore something here that we've really simplified what it is. It's a measurement of conductivity and temperature using a digital pen, pH using a colorimetric kit, does dissolved oxygen. I know some of you have some experience with that. That's the most tricky one to do. And turbidity, a measure of lake clarity. This set of measurements takes about 20 to 30 minutes on site to do, closer to 20 minutes when you're practiced at it. And we ask participants to do weekly sampling during the growth season to monthly sampling off the growth season. And what we do kind of behind the scenes at Monmouth is write grants and look for ways to expand the kits. For instance, for handheld HAB meters that we could give out to participants to expand their sampling capability without adding more time, too much more time. The idea is to keep this simple so that people or groups of people can make these measurements consistently over time. So here's a map of these. So we're looking at the Monmouth County from Lake Tackanassie and Long Branch to Wreck Pond down south. And all the red dots are areas where citizen scientists, as part of CLONet, have made measurements at one time or another. They're not all active anymore, unfortunately. I don't know what those blue lines are either. Are those on your screen?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we see them.
I hope it's not a Zoom bomber. The key component of CLONet sampling, because we're measuring simple parameters, is to sample them consistently over time. So one of the main to-dos in that regard overall, and this is relevant to Deal Lake specifically also, is to identify groups that can do that consistently over time, and to work with us, me and Aaron Conlon, to get the training done so that can be done. And by that, I don't just mean the people on this call. I mean, if you know of scout troops, school groups, environmental clubs at schools, send those ideas to me, and those are great people to bring in. The yellow dots on this map now show where my students and I sample. In my lab group at Monmouth is called the PHABLab. We sample weekly to every other week during the off season at all these yellow dots at 10 lakes throughout Monmouth County. And we measure things other than what citizens can measure, including nutrients in a collaboration with New Jersey DEP, and harmful algal bloom biomass and species composition under the microscope. So one of the things I want to look forward to doing is better integrating what we do with what citizens do. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. We zoom in on Deal Lake. In the red, you see the sites that have been sampled in the past. The sites that are currently active are this BD site, which I think stands for Brockles Dock. No, it does, by the Niddles. Steve Verderis is sampling these two sites here consistently. And Matt, forgive me if I mispronounced your name, if you're here, Osterhof is sampling the Fireman's Pond up here. All these other sites have been sampled in the past, but have kind of gone dry. So as we think about adding sites to Deal Lake, I think we need a site down here, but either here or here. Mm-hmm. At the Sunset Bridge here, and up the Wanamassa, I don't know the exact name of this part of Deal Lake here. And that will cover, I want to say thanks to Steve Souza and the DLC for a map that was provided that gave good guidance on where to sample Deal Lake to cover it adequately. And we can't hit all those sites, but I think the priorities to think about are getting a site here, in here, and down here
Right.
for
Mhm.
citizens. That's 3 extra citizen sites that we still need.
Can I just note we have 2 people interested in training currently, so those could be good spots for them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Right. And then Jason, I mean, you could also link, those sites to some of the historic data that has been collected over the past 15, 20 years at
Yeah.
those locations, or at least close to those locations. So you'd at least have like a time series of sorts of, recent data that could be compared to, let's call it historic data.
Yeah. Steve, you have that historic data?
Yeah, I have data going all the way back to 1984.
Wow.
It's not consistent where it's collected every single year, but
Yeah.
it's part of different EPA or DEP studies. Yep.
And while we're on this image, I'll point out that we currently have no one sampling Sunset Lake. And then Gail and I think Ed Lacombe are continuing to sample Wesley Lake at these 2 sites.
What happened to Sunset? I thought that was covered.
We had people and they just kind of, people fall out. That's one of the things when Erin introduces herself later, she's able to spend more time chasing people down than I am.
Yeah.
That's part of her job description.
And the one spot we have on Deal Lake, you got in yellow, is right in front of Dan Jacobs' house. Just want to mention that.
Which one?
The one by the Norwood Avenue Bridge.
GLSB2.
It's
okay.
no, it's over more to
You
the
mean this
ocean. The ocean.
This one.
Oh, that one. Yeah. Oh, that's
There's a nice concrete pier there. It's a great place to sample.
Great place. Yeah. Dan's right there. You can go out and take a little dip in the lake there and get water.
I don't want to give away any secrets, but the director of the Urban Coast Institute lives right near one of the sites that we need samples.
Yeah, I see that. I do see that.
Well, we've sent, Jason, I don't know if you were receiving the emails or not, but we have been sending out, starting up and with Erin, of course, to begin doing an all call for citizen scientists to get some training again this year.
Yeah.
And what's different about it this time, as we discussed, and anybody who's interested in, is because of COVID, we really want to make the group really tiny. Like last year we met 12, I think, when you did the training, but we're keeping them really small. So if anybody has that as a concern, there'll be 2 people. And Erin's been great about saying, yes, I'll meet with one person, right, Erin? I think even we have one request for one person wanting training.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Erin's going to introduce herself in a few minutes, but that's one of the reasons that we hired Erin. We reprogrammed some of the money from the original grant to hire Erin specifically to better coordinate and interact with all the citizen scientists in the program.
Yeah.
So I have seen those, yes.
Oh, good.
One of the things I'm thinking about is doing more goal-oriented sampling rather than just taking time series data, which I as an ecologist like, but storm events and rainfall events and watershed alterations, we can coordinate our sample once we get our teams in place to see if what's being done or how storm events affect the lake in terms of the stuff that we're measuring. Here is some data. This is the full CLONet data set up until October 10th, the last time this was updated. The different lakes are in different colors here. And the points I want to make here are that the data that are being collected by the citizens are real data, and it's useful data, and it's good data. But like any data set, you have to consider data that's collected, uploaded, as provisional until it's gone through and really checked for what I'm saying is QA/QC here, quality assurance, quality control. For instance, I left the raw data set here on purpose. At Lake Como, they were getting these 0 oxygen values. And I sent students out and have sent Erin out since to work with them and find out if those are real numbers or if there's a problem with the sampling. And I think what Erin and they concluded was that there was a problem with the kit. So we can't just look at the data, the raw data, and assume it's meaningful until we go through the quality assurance and quality check procedure.
That being said, would you be willing to offer like refresher courses to scientists who have already been through a course?
So Carolyn, that was my next point, and that's where training comes in, and that's another job line description, and Erin's job description is to be able to offer more training and retraining. And like I just said with Elizabeth Ooms and John Buckley at Lake Como, she has the time to like contact them, see the data as it comes in, look at it, and make an appointment to go and sample with them and see what's going on. So that's a big change for us. I'm really excited to have Erin on board.
Carolyn, yeah, this weekend, a retraining for folks. And let Erin talk to you about that.
Okay.
So just to illustrate the data, if you look at, we have good data between the summer and current for 4 areas. Deal Lake, you can see, has very low Secchi depths, low water transparency. Wesley Lake, and then Como and Takanasi in the yellow here. So I took those last year. We had more sites and we had measurements of nutrients that were being done by, I don't know what those blue lines are. You have to
I think
ignore
someone else drew on it.
Yeah, you have to ignore the blue lines. If you take what the citizens have been measuring in terms of Secchi depth and compare it to what nutrients are being measured, in this case it's total nitrogen by the DEP, they're related. And so what this graph says to me, on this axis is the average of 14 weeks of nutrient data at a value of about $8,000 of analyses. And here is your data that's been collected. And I'm not saying that citizen Secchi depth measurements replace total nitrogen measurements, but they're correlated, which means we can design collaborative sampling efforts that work together and save everyone money by doing the two together. And it also drives home the point of the good job that the citizen scientists are doing in collecting data. Total nitrogen in other data sets, so I'm not going to go through today, was the best predictor of how biomass across coastal lakes. And just wow, I was surprised when I saw this and happy. It is interesting how Deal Lake is the one lake that falls off the line. These 5 lakes are all on the line, and Deal Lake, what this is saying, for that level of TN, you would expect Deal Lake to have a shallower Secchi depth, but it's deeper. And I don't have an answer for that.
Oh, okay.
But it's an interesting observation.
Hmm.
So I want to turn it over to Erin Conlon. Now she's a recent Monmouth grad. She worked on this project as a student. And like I said, when we reprogrammed money, she was a candidate that got the position. So Erin.
Hi, I'm Erin, and I'm your science coordinator. And I'm just going to be going over what my role is here in CLONet, why are citizen scientist programs so important, and kind of future plans that we have in the works for CLONet. So what do? I am in charge of retraining or training. So if you're interested in signing up, I'll be the one to train you. If you're interested in retraining, just make sure you're doing everything right. I'm also in charge of that. If you run out of some chemicals, I can bring you some more. We fill up bottles of waste from the kits. When that gets full, you send me an email, I'll go and pick it up and I'll drop you off a new bottle. And I also just answer any questions that people have. They could do that through email, or I'll read through their notes that they send in with their data, and I can email them after they do that. And why am I here? It's basically to make the citizen scientists' lives easier. So say they need some chemicals or something, they email me and I'll get it to them as soon as possible. And then I could also resolve any issues they have with their equipment. So I'll be going through their data once a week. If I notice something that doesn't just look quite right, I might go to them. I can do the testing with them with my own kit, make sure we get the same numbers. If they don't, I'll give them a new kit. And I also just ensure the accuracy of that data. All right, so why are citizen science programs so important? The major concept is that citizen scientists close the gap of knowledge between institution and local communities. And what I mean by that is local communities know their lakes better than, say, Monmouth University could. So the Deal Lake Commission knows their lake. So just in the time that I've been here, we've been informed by citizen scientists and the DLC of the lake lowering, surges of seawater entering the lake, which would account for conductivity being higher than normal. And just some other lakes, they mentioned fertilizers were put down, pesticides that were put down, and just anything that would affect the data that I'm looking at. So two examples of other citizen science programs, so you kind of understand the importance of the citizen part of it. I'm going to start over on the right with the cyanobacteria monitoring. That is done by the EPA. There's 3 different ways you can get involved with that. There's an app which will teach you what to look for. So a cyanobacteria bloom, you would see it on your lakes. We've seen it in the lake. When it gets really green, it's most likely a cyanobacteria bloom. So what you would do is you'd take a picture of the lake and you'd post it on the app, and then it would try to help you identify what kind of bloom it is based on how the water looks. Another option for that is cyanoscope, where they send you a kit with a microscope and you try to identify what's in a water sample. And then another choice, and you put that online. And then another choice would be cyano monitoring, which would be you take a sample of water and you do some measuring of parameters like temperature and things like that. And then you'd look at it again under a microscope and try to figure out what that is. And then you'd put that information online. And one of the most important quotes I found with this program is, the strength of our program lies in diversity and combined expertise of collaborators like you, which will be shown when I discuss Seki Dippin. This is a program that looks at transparency of lakes, reservoirs, estuaries, rivers, and streams. They do it depending on your location and your program. They can do it all year round, but the major one is once a year in July. They'll all go around and do Seki measurements in their lakes or their water bodies. And then the goal of that is each year you can put together to form a picture of transparency over time. This program was just set up to be about a 2-year thing in 1994, and it's still going today due to the citizen scientists' interest in this program, which got picked up by other companies who invested in it.
And I think, Steve, you're still the president of NALMS?
No, I'm a past president of NALMS, but that, that is a fantastic program that was initiated by NALMS. The Deal Lake Commission participated in it this year, and I forget at last count, how many hundreds of lakes participate in the program each year, but yeah, it was, it's a pretty simple program, and, like Aaron's saying, it's done once a year, and then it's almost like a national, report card on, the quality of lakes throughout the entire country. It was initiated by Dr. Bob Carlson, who is like one of the foremost limnologists in the country, if not the world. But it's a really great program, and it does really, give that whole concept of why citizen-based science is so important, particularly with lake studies.
Okay. How we doing? How many more slides, Aaron?
This is my last slide, and then we just have a quick conclusion and acknowledgement slide.
Thanks.
So future plans for CLONet, we are planning in the early stages of planning a November Coastal Lake Summit. We've had these before, they were in person. Unfortunately, that can't happen this year, so it will be on Zoom. And the goal of this is just to bring together the whole CLONet community, and that includes your citizen scientists, our DEP partners, people like that, and our donators also. Just get together all the lakes and discuss not only our data, but we want your feedback. We want to know how we can make this program more efficient, how we can better it for you, and how we can better serve groups already looking after coastal lakes. Facebook updates, now that I'm officially settled into my position, I will be making data updates on there on a regular basis, starting within the next week or two. And then finally, we're making a quality assurance project plan, which is basically a long outline of CLONet. So what the problem is, the background on why we're doing this, how you guys sample, and how we make sure that the quality of the data is guaranteed. And the reason that is important is because it provides leverage in grant writing. So the more money we get, the longer we can keep this going. And I'll turn it over to Jason for a conclusion.
I'll be quick, Don, in saying that, we're anxious to grow CLONet more. Really happy that Aaron's involved and will help that happen. We can maintain the time series that we started. Sampling's been very simplified. And looking forward to expanding the program to do some more focused studies around rainfall and storm events and watershed alterations. If all the things we've been discussing earlier in the meeting actually have an impact on lake water quality, citizens should be able to see it with the measurements they're making. And please, if you're part of the program or want to be, contact Aaron and get the info and attend the November meeting. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to say thanks to Erin for being so great since you've been on board already, just reaching out when I've sent names of people to contact and setting up retraining sessions. We're really glad to have you. Thank you.
Happy to be here. Thanks.
Thanks, Aaron.
I'm sending a link in the group. If you want to have a say in when the CLONet Summit will be, just fill out the doodle pool survey that I'm sending. Okay.
Okay. Up, Don, you're muted. Don, I think you want to talk, but you're muted.
I hate that. Don't you hate that? Anyway, but thanks a lot, Aaron. And then just, Jeannie's there to help you, get the word out. She's got the system and the email system that we use, and also Deal Lake Watershed Alliance. We're in contact with them, and you probably are too. Of course, Jason's got that linkage. So there's hundreds of people, probably 500-600 people on those two email systems right alone. So you should be able to get some folks to help you out with that. Okay,
Hey, Don.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a pitch for myself right here. So next week, I am teaching again for about the 25th year in my 3-day lake management course at Rutgers. So it's 100% online. It runs over 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week. So if there's anybody who really wants to, learn more about lakes, that's another opportunity.
Why don't you send that to Jeannie and we'll get it up on the email system. Let's just send it out there.
All right.
Put it on Facebook and see if people want to join.
Okay.
That'd be fun.
Would it be through what is it?
Aaron too.
Through what university?
Rutgers.
Oh, for Rutgers. Thank you.
Competing colleges here. What are you gonna do?
It's not competing. It's
I know they all work. They all work together for the good, right?
It's all education.
That's right. No,
We would love to have Steve.
right now we have 3 universities working on Deal Lake. That's pretty good, I think, right? So I'm happy to see that. Thanks again, guys. Thanks. Anybody else from the public would like to speak?
Hey, Don, it's Bob Drzeski.
Hey, Bob.
1403 South Wanamassa. I just want to bring something to light, which I haven't heard this year yet. And maybe it needs to be talked about at some point, but wondering, you're a fisherman, Don.
Yep.
How has your catch been this year?
I've actually done pretty good in the locations I fish in.
Okay.
And I've been talking to some of my buddies, but in some spots there's nothing, in other spots it's wonderful. So
Okay, I haven't heard the wonderful part. I'm happy to hear that, I guess. I've talked to a lot of folks, and this is the worst year. I've been here 23 years now. This is the worst year I can remember. The fish are just really not around. So they're in some good spots. That's great. But I do think something happened maybe in the fall of last year, this year, something to do with the water, whether it's the salt coming in. I mean, we have a lot of studies now, right? Lots of things we can look at. But this year was a markedly different year than years past. And
it was hot water. I can tell you one thing: the water temperature. I don't know if Jace can to concur with that. It seemed like it was very hot. We had better fishing in the early spring than we did in the summer.
This started in the fall of last year, Don. I mean, in the spring it was still. I mean, I just pointed it out, and I'm gonna, it's an informal thing, but I think it was bad, and I worry about where this is going. If it was a bad spawning year class, it's one thing, and it's just going to be a bad year. But it could be something else.
It wasn't as good in the summer, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think of course it's more than the fishing, right? It's indicative of something going on, if indeed there's an issue. So I'm just want to bring it up. So if folks haven't heard this before, I think it's good to be thinking.
I didn't see dead fish.
No dead fish. No.
Jason, can you comment on the temperature? Because you've been getting data for Deal Lake for a few years.
Yeah, this summer I can comment on two things. This summer was, I would say that the hot part of the summer was a little extended, and rainfall was really low this year compared to the last 3 years.
True.
I don't know how that could,
Hey, Bob,
might affect
Yeah.
fish.
I'm going to try to get a report from the state and ask them. Maybe it's just not our lake. Maybe it's other lakes too. I don't know.
I mean, the tournament guys are the big way to check, Don. You check with the tournament guys, and those guys caught very, very little this year. Those are the sharks. They know how to do it. And it's when they're not catching fish, that's usually indicative of something going on.
Yeah, I got a buddy in one.
Would be more people fishing because there's nothing else to do this summer?
There should be more catches then, Jason, if that's the case. So there's more people on the water than ever because of
Jason,
COVID.
You mentioned the first thing, and what was the second thing you were going to say about
rainfall this year? So there's a rain gauge on Deal Lake at the eastern end, and if you look at it compared to the last 3 years, we were consistently several inches below, where we've been the last 3 years at least.
Right.
Yeah, we haven't opened the gate that much at all this year. Very few times. So yeah, Bob, I'll get back. I owe you that with the summer meeting. Maybe I hope to have something from the DEP fishing game.
That'd be great. Thanks, Don.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Hey, by the way, Rob, did you see the signs yet or not?
Yeah, I saw the one at the ramp. I was out last Sunday.
Okay.
I was out there catching nothing for a few hours, so I was a little focused on the fish I wasn't catching.
Yeah, my son's sitting next to me. We've had decent luck in one location, but some days you get nothing. I mean, the catfish I've been catching, white perch, and
those fish are around. That's the bass I'm thinking about.
Yeah,
it's fishing, right? It's not catching. It's called fishing for a reason. I get.
That's right. That's right.
But it's definitely something to be looked at.
Bass have been infrequent for sure. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Anybody else?
Yes. Hi. Can you hear me?
Melanie, right?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Hi. It's Melanie. I just wanted to say I agree with what Jeannie was saying before about the egg addling, because I did that before, and I think it is effective.
Very effective.
So I would be willing to participate, Jeannie, if you're going to get something going with that.
Yeah,
I don't do that. I know that it's effective, and Don can talk about who was involved last year.
Melanie, the big piece is Lock Arbor. There's a lot of geese that go behind the houses, and you can't find them. I mean, people.
When I did it before, I think we did it with. I'm trying to remember the group. It was a number of years ago, but we actually had permission, to go behind people's houses,
okay,
and do it, and you work in a team. Two of you together have to work.
If you could work the Lock Arbor shoreline, that'd be wonderful. We probably had 2 or 3.
We did Interlaken. We did Interlaken also at the time, and Lock Arbor both.
I'd really like to see the commission just do that as one of our pieces this coming year, is to just really begin to identify what are the best practices for getting rid of geese. You know,
It was the DEP that managed that last spring, and they did a pretty good job.
They did.
Right. I mean, remember, you need a permit for that, and you need to be trained.
Right.
As well.
Yeah, we were trained. I think it was Geese Peace, if I remember right. I don't know. I have the people's information here somewhere.
Yeah, I think it's USDA,
years
actually,
ago.
believe it or not. It's
Yep, it was the DEA.
Yeah, USDA, right.
Yep, USDA.
Do you need?
I have the.
That might have been last year, but I'm saying prior to that, it wasn't with the DEP. No.
Melanie, I have the contacts. I'll hook you up with them. Okay.
Okay.
Goose, Melanie. There you go. And by the way, she has the most ducks in the whole lake in front of her house.
Oh, be quiet.
They're nice ducks. They don't run away from me anymore. They just talk to me when I walk by.
Yeah.
Anybody else out there? Okay. I guess that's it.
I see some people with their hands raised. I don't
Oh,
know.
where? Where do you see that?
I
don't see that.
Couple people
In the participant list.
Yeah, 1-201-350.
Hold on. Ken, do you see that?
I see them, but they need to unmute and speak up.
Yeah, I'm here. Hello, I'm here.
There you are. Okay. Who are you?
Okay, I'm Ernest Mignoli. I live on Deal Lake Drive in the Santander, apartment 5B.
Ernest, make it short, Ernest, please.
You know, Don, you didn't say that to anybody else, did you?
Ernest.
You know, right away, we're off on the wrong foot, but let me say what I want. As a matter of fact, I won't ask you the 6 things I was going to ask you because you're going to treat me different, Don. You don't want me to ask questions. So I'll just do the first one and make you happy so I don't put you on the spot. So here's the first one. I would request that you put on your website availability for any citizen in Asbury to get the chemical test results and whether or not there's people fishing in the Deal Lake and they're catching and eating the fish. And what I'm asking you on this recorded meeting, if you had the authority or all the signs put up by the health department or just ripped down like they are all over Asbury. In other words, what I'm asking you to put on the Deal Lake Commission website is the tests that declare the water is safe to fish and to eat the fish. Because if not, you're going to have to explain where those signs went. Now, that's all I'm going to say, Mr. Bracco, because you treat me different. Sometimes you block me from the website. Sometimes you cut me off and you're rude like you just did. Make it short. I have to listen to you pontificate about nonsense for hours. Do I complain, Mr. Bracco? And you've been in charge of the lake for many years. It's still a disgrace. It's polluted. It's physically polluted, chemically polluted. It looks like a disgrace. There's flies, rats. Okay? You own that. That's your background. Don't blame me. And by the way, I don't fish in there anymore, and I'm a fisherman. I wouldn't put my hands near the water in the Deal Lake. And for you not to put the real test results on the website, you know, I'm going to say that perhaps you should be reported to the EPA. Where are all those signs that were all over Deal Lake, Sunset Lake, and Wesley Lake? Do not fish. These fish are not fit. Did you get an approval to take them all down? Do you have any test results to support? Because you're allowing kids and men and people, women, to fish with their kids, catch fish and eat them. And it's my position, unless you can produce the data that took down all those health department warnings, Mr. Bracco, you're allowing people to eat poisoned fish. And that's all I have to say. So I'll wait and see on your website if you put up the test results that declared the lake, and let's, in your case, the Deal Lake, that it declared it safe to touch the water, fish in the water, and eat the fish. Because you seem to brag about, oh, somebody caught a carp. Are you kidding me? These fish are probably orange with radiation and chemicals. You have some nerve taking those signs down. I want to know where they went.
Ernest, thank you for those words. No, I didn't take the signs down. The signs that were up was when they had the blue-green algae about 2 years ago, and they were taken down by the county. The blue-green algae alert was over. and they were taken down. The information about the fishing is very clear. It's already on our website. It's a link.
Oh, it is.
to
So
the
in other words,
is the link.
I can look on the website and
It is the
and see
link to the
certified tests.
DEP. It's the link to the DEP website for Fish and Game, and they show exactly what fish you can eat and how many you can eat. It's limited. There is limits. I'll give you that. There's
No, I don't mean on
all
quantity,
in the
Mr.
state of New
Bracco.
Jersey. The state of New
I don't mean
Jersey.
on quantity. I don't mean on quantity, Mr. Bracco. What I mean on is any fish caught in the Deal Lake. Are
Any
you
fish-
saying that you have data on the website that says it's been
we don't
tested?
control, Ernest, we don't control that. The state of New Jersey controls that. And they get to control
Well,
that
then
through
just put-
Fish and Game. You need to talk to the
Mr.
Fish and
Bracco,
Game.
all I'm asking you to do is put the results of the test from the state on your website. Because I
It's
don't
already
think
there. The information for the state of New Jersey on the edibility of the fish is on the website. You want me to
Okay,
show you? I can show you.
and I'm going to go look for it, but
Go
just
ahead.
to help me out, and I won't ask another question.
Thank you.
Does it say you can eat the fish in Deal Lake?
Yes.
Okay, all right. See that wasn't too bad. But I hope that it's constantly posted on there, and not that the tests are done every 2 years. How often are they done?
I don't know. They would have to ask the state of New Jersey. I'm not sure.
I hope.
I can show it to you if you want.
Okay.
Well, go to
Okay,
website.
well, I hope they're done. Every 2-3 months.
Oh, I don't think they're. I don't think you think the state's not even working right now. I hate to tell you that.
I'll tell you why. Because the way the cities are allowing development to go, and the way they're hooking up these water runoffs to the street that are dumping into the lake, it's not like it used to be, Mr. Bracco. The lake could handle a lot of pollution coming in from moderate density. Right now, they're increasing the density in Asbury Park exponentially. All that runoff is coming off of what used to be permeable ground. It's running in the street. It's picking up car exhaust, oil, and the lakes can't handle it. And I think at some point, and I'm probably going to be gone because I'm looking to move to Florida, but at some point, the Deal Lake is going to have to be cut off from runoff from Asbury.
Here's a sign.
you can-
Fishing on Ernest.
Go ahead,
Fishing on
go
Deal
ahead.
Lake. Is fish safe to eat in Deal Lake? And the answer is right here. It's right on the state website. It's right
on
here.
the state website?
State website, right here, man.
Okay, so then can you repost it on your website? Because,
It's
hard
there.
to.
I just clicked it. It's already there. Deal Lake.
It's on your website now.
Yes,
It's right here.
on our website.
Okay,
It's
great.
Deal Lake.
Thank you, and thank you for the work you do. And remember, it's my opinion that at some point you should think about cutting off the water runoff into the lake. Because
Well, we
you're
are
never
cleaning.
gonna-
We are trying to.
Well,
clean.
no. In other words, if the city hooks up all its developments to the sewer, the lake doesn't have to try and absorb what it can never absorb. I mean, it was never meant, those 100-year-old drains into the Deal Lake were never meant to take the kind of pollution from cars and buildings that we have now. I mean, the lakes need a break, and they need to be disconnected from the runoff, because every time you hear something like that new pool they want to put in, they say, well, when we clean the pool, we're going to put it out, whatever, it goes into the Deal Lake. Are you kidding me? Where do they get the approval to do that?
Thank you, Ernest.
You're welcome, Mr. Bracco. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yes, Don, it's Paul McEvely, 610 Woodmere Road in Interlaken.
Hey, Paul.
First, I'd like to say thank you to the Deal Lake Commissioners, your professionals, Steve Souza and Peter Avakian, and others that work with you for your conscientious attention year in and year out to the lake and improving the quality of the lake and those who enjoy the lake. I am a 35-year member of the rowing community using Deal Lake, and I, for one, very much appreciate the posting of the slow speed 5 mile/hour signs that you've recently posted around the lake. But again, thank you very much for the effort, and thank you very much for all you do year in and year out for the Deal Lake and those who enjoy it.
Thanks. Yeah, there's one thing I have to say, something in line with Ernest was saying, the lake's filling up. I mean, and Bob probably sees that a lot of everybody that rows on a lake, lives on a lake, it's filling up. I mean, it's an average 3-4 foot deep in most sections, and it's not getting better. And, we have to try and minimize the sediment going in. We're going to have to have a campaign next month. I think we already talked about putting an ad in the paper for the cleanup. We're going to add, blowing leaves in. I mean, leaves don't help. And And that, if people throwing leaves and debris in the lake, that hurts us too, and golf balls too. So every little speck of sand and material just fills that lake up faster. And I just don't see a big income source unless Eric's there. Maybe Eric can come up with a big funding guy from the state, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. But we can minimize and slow down the fill. That's the best we can do here in the commission.
Also helps to slow down runoff so people could stop cutting trees and vegetation out.
So that's a big problem. Big problem too. But that's just just a side statement based on comments. It's it is what it is, and we're doing our best with what we got. So anyway, anybody else from the public? Okay. I guess any more hands raised, Ken? I don't see any.
I'm not seeing that.
A motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
A motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make the motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Everybody stay safe, okay? And
Yeah.
we'll see you soon. And,
Everybody.